The gameplay in Resident Evil 5 is pretty much everything that you'd come to expect from Resident Evil 4, since it takes that control scheme in general and just copies and pastes it to this. Now, that's not bad, that's not even really lazy, because Resident Evil 4 controlled like a dream. Especially whenever we had the tank controls from Resident Evil, where we could just like turn in circles in place, and everybody's like, especially like new people to the franchise, they're like, how the fuck do I move around? Wait, what? Like twisting the controller like an asshole, just trying to get the character to go in a direction that they want. But Resident Evil 5, yeah, it controls really well. Downside to it is that it's still got the same problem that Resident Evil 4 does. Running along and stop. Aim. Fire, turn, and fire. Oh, an enemy's coming. Okay, stop aiming. Run. Okay, stop again. And counterattack with bullets. You cannot walk and shoot. You can't run and shoot. You can't do anything and shoot. So Chris and Sheva have the same exact problem that Leon does. They cannot do two things at once. Like multitasking, holy shit, that is not in the Resident Evil manual. They're just like walking and shooting. Oh fuck, how do I... Sheva, come on! Sheva, come on! Oh, it doesn't work whatsoever. I don't really understand why, because it's a really action-oriented game. It's not like, they're planning to take things slow with it. They send droves of enemies at you, so you're constantly shooting shit. Didn't they pick the game up and go, it'd be really nice if you could run and gun? No. And if anybody did have that idea and they were like, oh, send the memo out, it got jammed in a fucking machine and nobody saw it. And that machine caught on fire. And suddenly everybody forgot about that and just didn't give a shit afterwards. Fun stuff. Granted, okay, yeah, I am beating on this same idea over and over again, but it's a constant factor from start to finish. And it was just overall really annoying. The other problem that I have is the inventory system. The godforsaken piece of shit inventory system, which, like I've said in my Resident Evil rant, is like playing Tetris, but in Resident Evil. And I don't want to play Tetris in Resident Evil. I don't want to have to manage my items every 5 fucking minutes whenever I'm running around. I never thought that the item box would be the most missed thing within Resident Evil. Granted, Barry is one of the most missed things ever, but they brought him into the mercenaries mode, so I was like, yeah, that made me pretty happy. But the item box, holy shit. That's something that they just need to have as like a summon, just summon item box, and it's like, having to go over to Sheva and just kind of stand there, and just exchange items back and forth is fucking awful. Do you realize how many times I was walking around and I maxed out the stats on the stacks of like flash grenades, on, ammunition for things? Like, why did they have stacks? They could have eliminated that problem just by not having stacks. Just make any fucking number, it doesn't matter. Make it go up into the fucking quadruple digits. Why make it go up to like this small ass number and then start up another one? To be assholes. No other explanation for it. It's not like they were like, oh man, this is really inconvenient, let's change it. No, make those fuckers suffer. I guarantee it. I fucking guarantee it. That's what they said. They're like, I'll make them suffer. They're a bunch of jerk-offs anyway. So, yeah, unfortunately, us jerk-offs, we suffered. Playing fucking Tetris. Okay? Taking Diablo's little equipment management bullshit and applying it to a survival horror game, which is an action game, and just being fuck-ups about it is the worst conceivable idea ever. So I'm really genuinely fucking hoping that when they make the next Resident Evil, that they don't do that. Don't ever do that again, because it is awful, it is stupid, it is retarded, and I will punch a hole through any Capcom exec. Literally their face will be right about here, because my fist will go directly through. And right about here, I would probably get stuck on their eye socket or something, scrape my fucking arm out of anger. You hear that? This is anger. Roar. Anger. Fucking retarded. Other than that, yeah, the game's not too bad. Graphically, the game's pretty. It's nicer than hell looking. They pretty much took the Resident Evil 4 engine and applied it to much nicer hardware, and it shows. All the character models, they look excellent in general. Whenever they're moving around, all the animations, it all looks extremely smooth, and it is really nice looking. One of the ththings I did want to point out is the Ouroboros. Whenever you see them, you know, they're like the little black tentacle things, and they're constantly moving around. Seeing them, like gigantic versions of them, is extremely kick-ass. Like, they are definitely like one of the most pleasing looking things to see, like visually in the game. But the big bosses, like, and they're the highlight of the game as far as like graphically. Yeah, it's pretty impressive. Like, if you played Lost Planet 2, also by Capcom, the bosses in that game, you know, they were fucking huge. Like, you know, they're well above the screen. Like, you have to like point up and look way up to see them from a distance, no less. Well, they had bosses like that in this game too, and it's really cool to see them like that. You know, you're just like, holy shit, that's a big he's gonna kill me. You know, and it's neat to see stuff like that, you know, because it gives you like a very large scope of like, man, that's menacing, you know, that's more than what regular people can handle, so then it makes your characters feel even more badass for doing it. But, you know, and if I had that much steroids pumped into my fucking arms, Chris Redfield, I could kick anybody's ass too. Like, you, Wesker. Think you're so fucking tough teleporting around, huh? Not with tons of steroids. Pow! Right in the kisser. But, nah. All around, really pretty game. I enjoyed just looking at it. If you have an HD TV, you know, throw an HDMI cable in there, have that shit looking real smooth. It's pretty delightful looking, and just, I don't know, I like it a lot. On a side note for music, who the fuck had the bright idea to have those retarded ass techno remixes whenever you're playing online? I mean, it's nothing against techno, because I've heard good techno, but this is like some retarded fucking junkie all hopped up on a bunch of fucking pills, sat down, bashed his fucking head off of the keyboard, threw his mouse around like this, smacked it off some random bitch's head, and then was just like, dude, it did stuff. Click, save, and there you go. I exported a song, and I'm going to apply it to a game that's going to sell a couple million copies, and everybody's going to hear and go, what? It's just so retarded. Like, the stuff that they sample and throw in there is even more ridiculous. I don't know who had the bright idea, but they should be beaten. They should be beaten profusely with anything that is degrading at all. Preferably a severed dick of whoever gave them the okay to put it in there, because they deserve the worst fate of all. Whenever it gets handed to them, and they're just like, okay, and they put on their headphones and they listen, they're like, it's good shit. It's like, no, it's not good shit. My ear, it's bleeding. You see all that blood? You motherfucker. So yeah, that was something that when first time I heard it, I was like, this is stupid as shit. Goodbye, mute. Instantly mute. So yeah, that's something I hope they don't ever do ever again. The replayability of the game is actually pretty high, especially for a survival horror game or even an action game. You know, most action games, we have online modes and we take them for granted. That's just something that you have. Like, if you bring out an action game that involves tons of just shooting shit all the time and you do not have any kind of online mode, it's probably because you're fucking retarded. Like, you hear me? Fucking retarded. This'll sell well, people will care. Ah, no, they won't. Pow! Lots of punching going on today. But seriously, there's a lot to offer. After you beat the game, it unlocks extra modes that you can go and mess around with. That I like a lot. If you are going to buy an edition of the game, get the gold edition. Saves you money, and you get everything there in one nice little package, the way it should be. But in the end, it overall is just really pleasing for the consumer, because think about it. As fans, when we play the game and we beat it, you know, we don't want to just be done with it. You know, granted, we may want to move on to the next game that's on our, you know, to-do list, but the thing is, we don't want to spend $60 on the game, or $40 or $30 in general, and not get the most out of our money. The game isn't like super long to begin with. You know, it's longer than the average Resident Evil, but it's on par with Resident Evil 4 for the most part. But the thing is, when you're done, you want to be able to go back through, and you can. You can unlock infinite ammo for all weapons, which makes going back through less of a chore and makes it a lot nicer. There's costumes to get, figurines to unlock, characters to unlock on the online versus mode, stuff like that, and that adds to it. And then there is the online battle mode, which is a lot of fun, surprisingly. I was kind of iffy on going through it. Like, I had seen videos of it, and I had read reviews that it included in it. But it's a lot of fun. Like, if you actually like playing the game and you think that you're pretty decent at it, go online, just start shooting the shit out of people. It's something to do. If you're just bored and you're like, I need something else to do, go on Resident Evil and shoot people. That's pretty much what I did. I played it a couple matches and was like, it's decent. Then put it down because I had extra stuff to go through. So, and like I mentioned before, the Lost in Nightmares mode, which you pretty much end up going into a flashback where you're Jill and Chris, and you're inside, yet again, another mansion, was by far my favorite part of the game. Dead fucking serious. Was one of my favorites in general. It's just because it felt more like Resident Evil. I wish that it was longer because it was short. I ran through that without much stopping whatsoever. I didn't really have to think about anything. And they have these big-ass enemies who can just kind of destroy you. Just dragging their weapons along, which are anchors, ironically. That's kind of weird. It was like they took Pyramid Head and they were just like, how can we make Pyramid Head? I don't know, let's give him a weird fucking mask. Give him a different weapon. I don't know. You can drag around a grand piano and smack people for all we fucking care. Just make them menacing. And the thing is, whenever I saw one of them, I was like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. Just running away. I'd like that. That made me actually feel scared because I didn't have tons of weapons with me, I have a grenade launcher with infinite ammo and, I have a fucking strap on I'm going to skull fuck you with whenever I'm done. It also has infinite ammo. Yeah, didn't have any of that. You had a handgun. And that was it. And not a whole lot of ammo for it to boot. So it was like, oh shit, run, Jill, run! And you're just trying to run away, make sure that the AI controls Jill enough that she's like, oh, okay. Or if you have a buddy along that isn't retarded, and if they are, then you beat them with the controller, because they deserve it for being retarded. But seriously, it's pretty nice that they have that in general. Oh, and then you can play as Jill and run around, and see what kind of little wacky adventures she was getting into as well. That one's significantly harder. She runs around with the one dude. I sadly forgot his name, though. So I do apologize. You guys already know who I'm talking about. It's a dude that Sheva knows who's a mercenary there and everything. I forgot about him because he's not that important. Sorry, dude. But no, anyway, you get to run around as them, and that part is similar to Lost Nightmares, just it's shoot. That's really it. Lost Nightmares is all about puzzles and, giving you the whole retro feeling of Resident Evil. I can't believe I just used retro and Resident Evil 1 together. Fuck. It's been a long time. But, yeah. All around, really nice that they add in things like that. And, they have Barry. Barry and Rebecca, no less, that you get to play as. And just, being able to run and be like, I have this. That is fucking awesome. You have no idea. Whenever I made the Where's Barry Resident Evil rant, and then, not too long after that, they announced that he was going to be inside Resident Evil again as a character you get to play as and shoot people and just own the shit out of them with Barry's gun. Barry's gun. Fucking A, man. Awesome stuff right there. So, yeah. It's nice that they add in all the content and you can go through and play the game multiple times without getting bored of it. So, yeah, definitely worth the money. Overall, I liked the game. Granted, there were instances where I thought it was just extremely annoying or just lame in general and thought it was kind of, meh. But overall, I still enjoyed the game. It's still Resident Evil. I still had fun with it. I still bought it. I still played it. And I'm doing a review for it. So obviously, there has to be some aspects about it that are redeeming enough that I'm sitting here talking about it here with you guys. But unfortunately, Resident Evil 4 is better, Resident Evil 3 is better, Resident Evil 2 is better, Resident Evil 1 is better, etc., etc., etc. And that's the thing, is that it's kind of at the bottom. That's not necessarily bad because the Resident Evil franchise is some top-notch shit. Unless you think about things like, Resident Evil Gaiden or Resident Evil Survivor. Yep. Or Resident Evil Dead Aim. those games make me want to blow my fucking brains out because they suck. Suck fucking hard. And not in a good way either. In the bad way. They're not any good. But yeah, would I recommend it? Yeah, I would recommend it to people, especially fans, in general. For anybody that's new to Resident Evil, now I would tell them to go back and play the first one wholeheartedly, especially the GameCube remake, because that's a good place to start off with because it doesn't look as old. And I know that there's people that, when they see like an old game, they're like, ew, this looks so shitty compared to Halo and stuff like that. Can't believe I'm playing so old, it looks like Super Mario. And it's like, it doesn't look that. They're like, oh my god, look at this is so. And it's just like, shut the fuck up. Just fucking play this one then. They're like, oh, okay. Retarded as fuck. But, anyhow. It's not bad. It really isn't. I keep saying it's not bad, like I'm trying to reassure people, but that's the thing. The game caught so much flack, and from me even, but for good reason, is that, it's not what we want. So that's why I'm hoping that Capcom is actually going back to a drawing board, and with the next installment in Resident Evil is really just, give it their all and really bring the series back to its roots, because the main thing that the game is missing that bothers me the most is the horror part. Resident Evil survival horror. The dudes that made that genre because of Resident Evil. Now there's no horror aspect to it. There are no parts where I'm like, holy shit, this is making me jump or anything like that. It's just, you're like, this isn't fucking scary. There's dudes hiding behind walls with guns, chucking grenades. There's guys coming out with big fucking miniguns. Like, it's Vulcan Raven, but he's black and has a gay beret. Like, shit like that is just like, why, Capcom? That's stupid. Then, at the location of it, I'm sorry, running around Africa definitely is not scary. Resident Evil 4 is like this nasty looking fucked up town, like, the type of place like Leatherface jerks off in for fucking fun. That's the type of town that you would go to and you'd be like, oh no, like Children of the Corn type shit. But, Africa? No, Africa isn't scary. It's just depressing, if anything. But scary? Fuck no. It's not scary. In Resident Evil, I expect scary scenery. You're running around there, then you're in some kind of like warehouse, factory, you're on a boat and shit. And it's like, dude, did you guys like forget what the fuck this series was about? Was like scaring the bejesus out of people. No, not really. Not anymore, at least. Now it's Gears of War. And essentially that's what it is. If they would just thrown an active reload, I'm like, Gears of War. I mean, Chris is already big enough to be Marcus Phoenix. He has a suit where it's like a Gears of War dude. And it's like, dude, alright. Hop off of Gears of War's dick, okay? I'm sure it's fun and everything to be on its dick, but get off. It's getting raw. You can't do that to somebody's dick. It's shoo. Just get off their dick. They need to release Gears of War 3. They can't do that if you keep popping on their dick so much. And you need to concentrate on making Resident Evil games, not fucking copycat clones which aren't actually your game but you want them to be. And that's why the series has pretty much come to a point that everybody's like, oh man, what's the next one going to be? Because when Resident Evil 4 came out, everybody was just like, holy shit, that was so awesome, I can't wait for 5. I guess whenever you hit a really, really high note, then there's only one place to go. I was just hoping that it would stay, stationary. Just, keep going level and everything. I hope you guys knew what this meant. So just like, why the fuck is he doing this the whole time? But, yeah, Resident Evil 5, if I was going to rate it, I won't absolutely destroy it. I'd give it, like, out of 10. I'll give it an 8.0. That's being generous, mind you. Just because the Gold Edition offers a lot of really nice stuff. Fuck that. I'll give it, like, an 8.3. I'm trying to be generous, so there. 8.3. 8.3. So, Gold Edition, get that. Don't get the regular edition, even if it is cheaper, because you're robbing yourself of a bunch of extra shit, and that's silly to do. Why pay more when you could pay for all the stuff in one package right there? That's kind of nice to do. So, yeah, check it out, and crossing my fingers that the Resident Evil on the 3DS is going to be one of the most epic things, and it's going to be like Lost in Nightmares. So you guys better hope for that too. And also, what did you guys think of Resident Evil 5? You know, down there, that's the comment box. That's where you go and you go type. Or video response, whatever the case may be. Gotta make your voice heard, man. So do it.